Is what's happening between the blue and white country and the watermelon country purely based off of racism, or is there an element of bigotry against Muslims and Islam? In order to illustrate for you all why I think that it's both, let me invite you back to an event, as horrific as it was, that happened in the United States itself in 2016. This is from NBC News. Oklahoma man charged with killing Arab neighbor while awaiting trial for attacking the victim's mother. Kindly please take note of the date. This was August 16th, 2016. An Oklahoma man awaiting trial for running his next door neighbor over with a car now stands accused of gunning down her son. And the family says it all stems from a hatred of Muslims, even though the family, are Lebanese Christian. The heartbroken family of 37-year-old shooting victim Khalid Jabara said the twin tragedies were part of a multi-year campaign of harassment by neighbor Vernon Stanley Majors. I'm covering his face because we've had enough of looking at him. This suspect had a history of bigotry against our family, the Jabara family said in a statement. He repeatedly attacked our ethnicity and perceived religion, making racist comments. He often called us dirty Arabs, filthy Lebanese, Arabs, and Muslims. The Jabaras are Christians. Majors was arrested last September for allegedly deliberately mowing down Jabara's mother, Haifa Jabara, with a car 2 years after she and her husband took out an order of protection against him, according to the Tulsa police. He killed our brother while awaiting trial for running over our mother, the Jabara said. Only 30 minutes prior to my brother's shooting, Khalid called police stating that this man had a gun and that he was scared for what might happen. Police confirmed that officers responded to Jabara's 911 call on Friday, but said that they were unable to locate any criminal activity and had no cause to immediately arrest the 61-year-old suspect. Majors did have a protective order against him that stated he was supposed to stay a certain number of feet away from the victim's mother and household. Police spokeswoman Jeanne McKenzie said in a statement, the Tulsa Police Department does not determine who can live somewhere and who can't. We would only take action if someone were to violate that protective order. Jabara's family said Majors should have been behind bars. This is how we know that there is definitely an element of bigotry towards Islam and Muslims, Islamophobia, we would call it, and not just simply racism against Arabs or Palestinians in what is happening with the blue and white people and the watermelon country, because there are so many examples where actual Islamic practices and principles and behaviors and names and so many other elements of Islamic culture religiously are used as proof as to why the blue and white country is doing what they're doing and why they are justified in doing what they're doing. And in the same way as this horrible person who took a life and was violently harassing this family in their home, and the police just said, oh well, he hasn't actually caused physical harm yet, so he can just for years and years harass this family and put them in danger, and then their son is dead, and now all of a sudden, okay, we can step in and do something. A life has already been lost. In this way, it doesn't matter that technically, yes, there are Palestinian Christians and there are Palestinian Jews. It does not matter to the blue and white country, clearly. It doesn't matter to the United States or the UK or Australia or Canada or France or on and on, all these other colonizer countries. That's why on this subject, it doesn't actually truly matter to the opposing side whether there are Palestinian Christians, Arab Christians, Palestinian Jews, Arab Jews. It does not matter to these people because they are just looking to get the land, to ethnically cleanse the population, to move aside people that they don't want to be there so that they can make money off of the oil, so that they can have the military advantage of having bases in the Middle East in this very strategic place. That is their goal. They don't actually care about you or me, whether we're Muslim or Christian or atheist or pagan or Hindu or Buddhist or Sikh. They literally don't actually care about the religion of any of us. But they are leaning into the decades and decades and decades of Islamophobic messaging that the world has been subject to for all of this time in all facets of society, so that they can activate your stereotypes and your biases against Muslims and the religion of Islam so that you don't look too closely at what they're doing because you think that all Muslims are barbaric or Muslims oppress people themselves. So why would I stand up against Muslims being oppressed? Well, Muslims oppress women. So why would I stand up for a community that oppresses women? Muslims are so dehumanized in my mind. I don't see anything of my humanity in them. And so I am not moved by images, even horrific images that have been long available way before October of 2023 for anyone in the world to see. I am not moved by these images and these calls for justice and calls for liberation and freedom because I don't see this whole mishmash glob of people that I have been told are all Muslim, and so I am not going to look any further into what they are experiencing or fact check whether they really are all Muslim, which, by the way, even if Palestinians were all Muslim, this would still not be okay, right? We can agree on that? Hopefully we can agree on that. I want you all to take from this video specifically is that the technicality of whether Palestinians are Christian or whether they're Jewish or whether they're Muslim and what are the percentages of both, none of that matters. You are trying to speak logic and reason to a group of people who do not care about logic and reason. They have a goal in mind and they are going to use anything that they can to justify why they are in the right. The same way as white colonizers in the United States used Christianity, bastardized Christianity to defend what they did to the enslaved people that they kidnapped from Africa and made them work in plantations in the most horrific of conditions and the horrific treatment that they dished out to the indigenous peoples of this land that is still happening today. They bastardized Christianity, which I, as a Muslim, believe that there is a very real, very genuinely true message within the message of Christianity. However, what white colonizers of European descent did was bastardize it, not because they really truly believed that what they were doing was in the name of Christianity, but they wanted gold, they wanted riches, they wanted land, and they were going to find any possible reason that they could to justify why they could enact the most horrific of actions against other human beings. It wasn't right then. It isn't right now to the Black community, to Africans in Africa still, to the indigenous peoples all over the world. And it isn't right now to the people of the watermelon country, even though, yes, racism does play a part, but also very much bigotry against Islam and Muslims also.